Hi, and welcome to this month's edition of the Ambassador Development Series. My name is Emily. I am a former au pair, and I've been working at Cultural Care in Switzerland for 4 years. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart: how to overcome obstacles. Now, as you will all know, being an au pair, it's hard. It's tough work with days where you just want to scream, tear your hair out, or just go back home. Some days you'll even ask yourself, really? This is what I left my home country to do? Honestly, I think that being an au pair is such an absurd situation sometimes that I ask myself, who would willingly come here and live in the house of their employer where you don't get a break from the kids ever? If you haven't asked yourself at least once, what am I doing here? Then, congratulations. You are a saint, and I am in total awe of you and your heaven sent patience. Now, I was an au pair for three boys, aged 2, 4, and 7, and I love those kids so much. My main challenge, however, was my 4-year-old in the photo there in the middle. He hated me for about 6 months of my stay and thought I was just the worst for coming and taking his mommy time away from him. Before I arrived, my host mom asked me to read a book, and it discussed how boys have these testosterone peaks during their childhood where they start acting out more and they have trouble controlling their emotions. Guess when that peak is? Of course, when boys are 4 years old. So to say that I went through my fair share of challenges during my time as an au pair, yeah, that's an understatement. The thing that always strikes me about this, though, is that while it was the toughest year of my life by far, it was also the best year of my life. Even if you paid me $1 million, I wouldn't take away the time that I spent with my host family. So, for this reason, I want to talk to you all about the things you can learn from facing obstacles and then overcoming them. So let's use a very Swiss example of this. Picture climbing a mountain. Now, climbing a mountain, it will definitely be really tough uphill. It's sometimes very steep, but again, you're always moving towards the top. Sometimes you might not even see the sky due to how steep the mountain is. Some days it might be a nice walk. Some days it will feel impossible and like you can never reach the top. But think about it. Can you actually see yourself at the top at the end? When you've actually done it and made it all the way through the climb? Now imagine this is what your time as an au pair has been like. Sooner or later, you also reach the top. When you feel comfortable in your new country, you're driving around your new American town like it was the most natural thing in the world. You will have created wonderful relationships and hopefully your English has improved. That's the goal that we want you to achieve, for you to stand on the top of that mountain with a new perspective and a new view on things. Because if climbing a mountain or being an au pair was easy, it would honestly take away half of the fun, because then, of course, everyone could do it. Instead, once you complete your year, you are one of the few people who can say, yeah, I did it, and you came out stronger on the other side. So, when you face an obstacle, which we all do, here are some top tips for how to handle it. Firstly, realize that it's okay to feel pain. You should let yourself be sad, angry, or any other emotion. So feeling your emotions is as healthy as it is important. Bottling these feelings up will do you harm in the long term and prevent you from being able to process the obstacles in your life, as well as formulate plans to get past them. So if you feel like crying, by all means, shed a tear. Take your time and let your emotions out. Now, of course, you can feel those emotions, but you can't live with them forever, and you also can't let them run your life. So, in order to overcome life struggles, you need to make sure that you have a plan. Figure out what it is that you need to do in order to succeed at overcoming the challenges you're facing. Remember that asking for help isn't failing, but failing to ask for help when you need it is. Don't be afraid to reach out for support because you will find people who are willing to be there for you. And now, asking for help, it can be hard, but accepting that help can be even harder. So make sure that you let people in. And finally, be proud of all that you've lived through. You've made it this far in life, and that in itself is a huge accomplishment. And then celebrate all the good things in life. There may be the bad, but you can always find the good. Focus on those things, and you'll be happy that you did. So let's look at some of the things you learn while you're going through tough times. So number one is resilience. Now, resilience, that's a fancy word for being able to toughen it out in a difficult situation. Think back to a year ago. There's definitely things that you would never in a million years attempt to do then, but that now feels like a piece of cake. Maybe you were scared of starting up a conversation with a random person. Maybe it took you 3 hours to write an email in English, or you couldn't change a diaper, or you couldn't make a meal while entertaining several kids at once while in lockdown. Maybe you've lost a family member back in your home, but you couldn't be there to say goodbye. Or your whole family was in quarantine together in your home country, but you weren't allowed to travel home to be with them. You have been through so much during your time that you will feel like you experienced a whole lifetime in just 1 year. Now, through all of these situations, you have developed a huge amount of resilience. You can take this resilience now and apply it to situations in all aspects of your life moving forward. Don't get the job you apply for? You know you'll get through it. Rejected from your first choice of university? Okay, not a problem. You are resilient, you are powerful, and you can easily come up with plan B, C, or even X. And now for number two, adaptability. No matter how flexible you felt like you were before starting this experience, I'm sure there have been some times where you felt out of place or confused by how Americans act in certain situations. As you'll know from your au pair training, culture shock is part of the package you sign up for when you go as an au pair. But it still doesn't prepare you for that moment when you're standing in the supermarket aisle and you just crave your favorite bread from back home and not that styrofoam toast bread that they have instead. However, you're still alive. You haven't starved yet. This means that you've been able to find something to eat and move forward with your day. Being adaptable is a huge strength because now it will take a lot for you to feel out of place and uncomfortable in a new situation. You're becoming more flexible, which will help you fit in with other roles, unfamiliar situations, and new groups of people. And finally, for number three, independence. Now, many of you will have said before arriving as an au pair that you were hoping that your cultural exchange would help you develop as a person, explore new horizons, and maybe even help you grow up a little. When we are younger, it's easy to always rely on our family and friends when you face obstacles. As humans, we will always choose the path of least resistance. So, of course, we ask the people closest to us when we need help. But now you guys have moved thousands of miles away from your family and friends. So, now what? What do you do when it's late in your home country and your family are already sleeping, but you are facing a massive challenge? Do you just not solve your problems because they're asleep? No, of course not. What if you need to find a bank or a gym or a hairdresser in your new hometown? Do you call your parents at home and ask them which gym you should join? No. You've learned that you can face an obstacle and overcome it on your own. We should always lean on people when we need help, but you know now that what you need to do in a challenging situation. This is one of the most important strengths that you will use throughout your life, and you improved your independence through doing something really hard. So that's what I want you to always turn back to when times are rough. What can I learn from this situation? What is something I can take with me from this that will help me improve as a human being? You've learned so much already, and even though you might feel that your time as an au pair has not been exactly what you expected or hoped for before you arrive, that shouldn't be a negative thing. You might have faced and overcome more obstacles over the last 6 months than you have in your entire life before now. And since we know that every overcome obstacle is a chance for you to grow, just imagine how much you will have changed at the end of your time on the au pair program. So let me leave you with a little conclusion here, that just because something is difficult doesn't mean it can't be amazing. You've already been through so much to get here. The only way from here is up. And all of us at Cultural Care know that you will go on to do more amazing things in your future. So good luck, and I hope you will have an amazing time during the rest of your cultural exchange. Thank you.